My mind's in jeopardy, my thoughts are past. I know I'll die soon, so there's no need to ask.
Take that, take that, take that.
Shakur was airlifted to the Las Vegas University Medical Center with 4 gunshot wounds and is reported to be in critical...
What the fuck? Things like a drive-by shooting ain't supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't have happened to him. It's crazy for me to even think about this. It hurt me, man. It hurt me. But the way I looked at it, it was like a character that he couldn't get out of. You know what I'm saying? Once he figured out, okay, I can get an enemy, I can get a top rapper, an enemy, and get so much press. It's just, there's so many different things that I could do to keep myself in this. And I'm going to do it. And he did it. At one point, that was my dog. Funny, too. A lot of people didn't know that about Duke. He was funny. I could make him laugh, man. He liked to hang out and get drunk. His interviews and everything, he just seemed so angry, but at the same time so charming. You know what I'm saying?
Biggie finished recording the Life After Death album in early '97. He had multiple people on the hit list, not just Tupac. He had lines for everyone. He made sure to respond properly, even if it meant that he had to diss a dead man. People were begging Biggie to finally respond to Tupac to regain his respect in the streets. A lot of New Yorkers were really looking forward to the full response record to Pac's Hit 'Em Up, which is called Long Kiss Goodnight, which never actually mentions him by name and was subliminal mainly due to Tupac's untimely demise. It is said that Biggie held back on the song to not go too far, and to not make it too obvious who he's talking about. Cause the entire Bad Boy family denies that this is about Pac. There are also rumors that this is actually the second version of the song. And I'm not talking about the demo version with Capadonna. The first one was supposedly made before Pac died, and it mentioned him by name, was supposedly way more direct. Some say it was intended to be released on Halloween of '96, but then Pac died and he got into a car accident, so he had to remake it in late '96 to not make it too obvious that he's dissing a dead man. And it's possible that they erased it forever. But then again, no one from the Bad Boy camp has ever spoken on this version. So it is possible that this is just a silly rumor. Cause everybody always says that Biggie was in peace mode while Pac was alive. Now, the second version is the one with Capadonna from the Wu-Tang Clan on the hook. It features the same 3 verses you hear on the album. So it's basically the same version. Lyrically identical, but completely different from the first version which supposedly got scrapped. Proof for the song being made after Pac's death is actually in the song itself.
I used to be as strong as Triple B, till little C's cripple me.
Referencing the car accident 3 days after Pac's death, which crippled Biggie and made C's lose teeth.
You lose teeth like little C's.
And he also said now the year's new, talking about '97.
Now the year's new.
The song was named after a movie with the same title, which came out on October 11th, 1996, a month after Tupac's death. The beat was actually produced by RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. Yes, the same RZA that Tupac wanted to sign to Death Row East together with his clique. And now he's in the studio recording a diss track against Tupac. RZA felt some type of way about the fight at the Club 662, where the rap group OFTB, which was signed to Death Row at the time, beat up RZA and snatched his chain. Pac tried to make things right by getting him his chain back, offering him to talk it out with them, and also offering him and his group a record deal. He showed them love and respect on the radio, and wanted the Wu-Tang Clan to be on his side against Biggie, cause he knew that Raekwon and Ghostface Killah had a problem with him. They had already dissed Biggie on the Only Built for Cuban Links album. So Pac wanted to get himself some reinforcements from New York against Biggie. But Big reached out to them and turned them against Pac and Death Row. They stayed loyal to New York instead of siding with the West Coast during the East-West War. Not only that, but the demo version also featured Capadonna from the Wu, who was supposed to be on the hook. He can be heard laughing and talking trash about Pac in the background. So part of the Wu-Tang Clan was going at Pac. The beat also uses the same sample as Capone Noriega's LA LA, which was a response record to the Dog Pound song New York, New York, a diss track against him, with Mobb Deep and Tragedy Khadafi as feature guests. It was produced by East Coast legend Molly Mall. They thought the dog pound was dissing New York, especially after hearing Biggie call up the Hot 97 radio station to warn New York about them shooting a disrespectful music video in their city, motivating people to approach them at the video set, which eventually led to the infamous shooting on December 16th, where the trailer of Snoop and the Dog Pound was riddled with bullets. Capone Noriega, Tragedy Gaddafi, and Mobb Deep heard Biggie on the radio and then decided to make a diss record. The video of Snoop kicking over the buildings hadn't even come out yet. The original version of LA LA came out before it and featured the same beat as the Dog Pound's New York New York. But seeing the video made them film a video of their own, where they're kidnapping Snoop and the Dog Pound. They decided to put it out as a single and even got Molly Mall to produce for them.
LA, LA, big city of dreams, but everything in LA ain't always what it seems.
They wanted to show Death Row that New York is standing strong, that they all came together to fight back. At the time, Biggie didn't want to get on that record. He was completely against it. But after Pac's death, he decided to remake that song basically. He was now ready to diss Pac. A lot of rappers from Queens were mad at him for staying silent, for not wanting to strike back, cause while Pac was alive, he wanted peace. Now he's giving those same people that doubted him what they were asking for. Everyone from Queens that lost respect for him, including Capone Noriega, Tragedy Gaddafi, Mobb Deep, Royal Flush, and even Nas. Molly Mall is from Queens too. They all wanted Biggie to battle Pac. So Big took their beats and did what he was supposed to do, using that same East Coast sound to diss the West Coast. Just by hearing the beat, you already know that this is going against Death Row. And Big had brought Snoop to the studio to make peace. Now he's using the same beat Snoop got dissed on, dissing Snoop's dead homie, knowing that none of them will ever respond to it. He made Snoop come to the studio knowing that he's going to lyrically attack his friend Pac on the same album. Puffy starts off in the intro saying, "I told you to stop. I prayed for you to stop. But you didn't stop. And now we won't stop." Biggie then spoke about one specific guy. A stupid guy who wouldn't stop. Who could he have possibly meant? Biggie then says that it's time for that person to die. He starts off the verse by mentioning the singer De La Reese, who sang the song "You're Nobody Till Somebody Loves You," which Biggie later flipped and changed to "You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You," the song that comes right after Long Kiss Goodnight, the final track on the album, which is also meant as a diss towards Pac.
I make your mouthpiece obese like De La Reese. When I release, you lose teeth like little C's.
Biggie is once again talking to Tupac like he's still alive, referring to him in the second person, talking to him directly as if it's a letter, making the average listener think that he's talking to someone who's still alive, telling Pac that he'll make his mouthpiece obese like De La Reese. Another way of saying that he'll punch and beat him until his mouth is swollen. De La Reese gained a lot of weight in the 80s, which made her face swell up quite a bit, at least compared to when she was in her youth. He also said, "When I release, you lose teeth like little C's." This is a double entendre. Every time Biggie releases music, Pac gets metaphorically punched in the mouth, so that he loses teeth just like little C's after the car crash, which again happened after Pac's death. The second meaning is him putting a gun into Tupac's mouth, the way he demonstrated it in the outro of Who Shot Ya.
Can't talk with a gun in your mouth, Please, blood floods your dungarees, and that's just the half of my war path.
Tupac used to wear dungarees when he was part of Thug Life, around the time he was close with Biggie. He changed his style when he came out of prison. But until late '94, you would occasionally see him in dungarees. Him saying "blood floods your dungarees" as a reference to the Quad Studio shooting, where Tupac got shot in the groin area. When he went up to the 8th floor to confront Jimmy Henchman, everybody saw the blood rushing out of his pants. They tried to stop the bleeding by pressing on it with tissues. Pac even opened his pants and saw the hole in it, with his private parts covered in blood.
Laugh now, cry later. I rhyme greater than the average player hater and spectators.
Better laugh now, then cry when I come to get you. I hit you with 2 blocks and leave you with scar tissue.
Laugh now, cry later. I rhyme greater than the average player hater and spectators.
Pac had 2 tattoos on his back, Smile Now and Cry Later. Biggie references them to make clear that the song is indeed about him, even if the entire Bad Boy camp denies it. Just like in the song Dangerous MCs, he describes you how his enemy looks like, without actually saying his name. He talked about his slim frame, his tattoos, his bandana, mentioned the song I Get Around, and on this song he gives us even more references. Laugh now, cry later, I rhyme greater than the average player hater. Biggie is basically saying that he's a better rapper than the player hater with the laugh now, cry later tattoos on his back. Again, Biggie and Puffy gave Pac the nickname Player Hater, after he made fun of their quote-unquote fake player image. So they responded by putting it into songs. Pac did something similar by calling Biggie and Puffy Piggy and Buffy. Both sides gave each other nicknames to make fun of each other.
It still tickle me. I used to be as strong as Ripple B, till little C's cripple me.
Then we get to the line where he says that he used to be as strong as Ripple, which was a fortified wine with 11% alcohol by volume. But after the car accident caused by Little C's, he felt like a cripple, with him having to use a cane to be able to walk again. But even in this weakened condition, his enemies still can't hurt him with all their jabs and disses. That's why he said it still tickles him.
Now I play hard like my girl's nipples be. The game sour like a pickle bee.
This is a response to Tupac constantly saying that Biggie only plays hard, that he's actually a scared little boy acting tough and pretending to be a player. A guy who doesn't know how to play by the rules of the game. So he was questioning his tough guy and player image. Big responded by saying that he might be playing hard, but only because of the car accident which left him crippled. But even in this weakened condition, the girls still love him. So there was nothing fake about it after all.
The game sour like a pickle bee. Y'all know the rules. You know the rules.
He's also saying this is what happens when playing the rap game turns sour, while quoting a line from Tupac's Hit 'Em Up.
Now the year's new. I lay my game flat. I want my spot back. Take 2.
You can actually interpret this in multiple ways. Biggie wants his spot back. He was the #1 rapper in the world in 94 and 95. Pac took his crown in 96, and now Biggie is back on top in 97. It's a new year, and just like when filming movies, this is take number 2. But he's also saying that his competition can take the #2 spot. The #1 spot is reserved for him.
Motherfuckers mad cause I blew. They can envy us. Too many looking on my dick. Shit strenuous.
They always felt like Pac only had a problem with Biggie because he blew up in the rap game while his own career went downhill. That it was out of jealousy. That he had to go at Biggie by joining forces with Bad Boy's enemy in order to gain relevance again. Biggie was the king of New York after all. There were dozens of rappers wanting to take his spot, but failing miserably.
When my men bust, you just move with such stamina. Slugs missed ya. I ain't mad at ya. We ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
I ain't mad at you.
Dangerous you're not. I gets down. Twist your body round and round. Upside down.
Get around, still down with the underground clown. Around they go. I get around.
Maybe next time you punk ass to keep your head up.
Quiet.
Give me your head up, ooh, child. Things are gonna get easy.
Biggie and his camp kept referencing Pac's songs, this time I Ain't Mad at Ya, which is basically a letter from Tupac dedicated to his friend, which he only gets to read after Pac's passing. Pac is basically talking to his friend from heaven. And in the video, he actually got shot and killed for trying to protect his friend. And now that he's dead, he's telling him, I ain't mad at ya. Biggie is now saying the same thing. This is one of the few songs where Biggie admitted that the people who shot Pac were his homies. But like explained earlier, this is most likely not a real confession. He's just playing the villain and subliminally taking the blame. It's still debated which shooting Biggie is talking about here. The one at the Quad Studios or the one in Las Vegas. Cause the former had always been a rumor. Something that Pac heard from strangers while he was in prison.
While I'm in jail, strangers is telling me, yo, you don't know? Biggie homeboy shot you. Because they bragging. They telling they niggas in jail. Yo, we just got Pac. Woo, woo, woo. And my cousin was in jail in New York because I got family out there. He sit right there while the niggas get the call going, yo, my homeboys just jacked that Tupac. So that's how I knew he shot me. What happened and everything.
And he also said that the robbers looked like Biggie's homies from Brooklyn. Big saying that Pac moved with so much stamina could be a reference to him running around on the 8th floor where he confronted Puffy and Jimmy Henchman. The slugs missed him in a sense that the 2 shots, which could have been fatal, only grazed him by the head and didn't actually pierce his skull.
Hey, homie, if you feel me, tell them tricks they shot me, that they missed, they ain't kill me.
When my men bust, you just move with such stamina. Slugs missed ya, I ain't mad at ya. We ain't mad at you.
That's how he used to taunt his shooters, the people who set him up, and everyone who was there during the incident. It would also be in line with what he said next, assuming that this is all a timeline. Him getting shot, catching cases, coming out of prison, accusing people.
Blood rushing, concussions ain't nothing. Catch cases, come out frontin', smoking something.
A concussion is a mild traumatic brain injury that affects brain function. Tupac got pistol whipped by the robbers during the Quad Studio incident. So when Big talks about concussions, he could have meant that. The song might have been structured in a way that he addresses everything in chronological order. Verse 1 could be about the Quad Studio shooting, and verse 2 about the shooting in Las Vegas. But people argued that both verses are about the Vegas shooting and not the Quad Studio shooting, that Big had nothing to do with it, saying that verse 1 couldn't have been about the Quad Studio shooting cause Pac didn't move with stamina. He was playing dead and got knocked out. He was only moving with stamina during the Vegas shooting, cause the Crips made fun of him for moving around and trying to dodge the bullets during the drive-by shooting, saying that he looked like he's trying to breakdance in the car, jumping around in panic. Some people think that Biggie was making fun of that, saying that Slugs Missed Ya, I Ain't Mad At Ya was about Shook, who only got grazed in the head, while Pac took the bullets like a shield. So just like how Pac said I Ain't Mad At Ya to his homie after taking bullets for him in the music video, Biggie is telling Shook I ain't mad at ya for not taking the bullets in Pac's place. Cause Puffy had put a bounty on both of their heads, and the Crips that shot at Pac and Shook were indeed hired by him. So it would make sense for Biggie to say when my men bust, talking about the Crips like they're his people. Cause the people that robbed Tupac at the Quad Studios were not cool with Biggie. So it wouldn't make sense for Biggie to call them his men. The Crips, on the other hand, they could be considered his men, even if it wasn't actually him who hired them. So some people think that this is indeed about Shook, cause the slugs really missed him, and he attempted to escape the crime scene by speeding off and doing a U-turn. That's what Big could have meant when he said you just moved with such stamina.
Blood rushing, concussions ain't nothing. Catch cases, come out frontin', smoking something.
Just like how blood was rushing from Pac's head after the Quad Studio shooting, blood was also rushing from Shook's head after the Vegas shooting, cause he got grazed by a bullet. He then caught the case which got him locked up for kicking the Crip Orlando Anderson. So that would make sense and could be indication for him talking about the Vegas shooting. But then he said, come out frontin', smoking something. Shook went to prison and didn't really have a chance to come out frontin'. He didn't come out until 5 years later. By that time, Big had already passed. So it doesn't really make sense that this is about Shook. This sounds more like it's about Pac, who came out of prison quote-unquote frontin' as if he's smoking something, meaning that he's out of his mind for accusing and blaming everybody. Cause they always said that everything Pac did after getting shot was act, as if his life is a movie, disconnected from reality. So it's really hard to tell which incident Biggie meant. I personally think that this wasn't about Shook, but about Tupac and the Quad Studio shooting.
Guard your issue before I stick you, for you re-up, wipe the pee up, make shots, woke your seat up.
He's talking about robbing someone who's supposed to guard whatever Biggie is coming after. And then the next line sounds like he's making fun of Pac for getting shot in the groin area, talking about him making his pants wet. The shots woke his seat up. People always joked about Pac supposedly losing one of his testicles after the shooting. Pac supposedly opened his wet pants to see if his private parts are still there. There was a hole in his pants and he was feeling numb. Big is basically saying that he wet his pants after getting shot in the balls.
wipe the pee up, mix shots, woke your feet up, go in the ashtray, spark the weed up. Wrong kid.
Free made it last wishes, they can smoke my ass.
Go in the ashtray, spark the weed up.
Tupac didn't really have a funeral. He wasn't buried. You never saw him in a casket. He was cremated, burned to ashes.
I'm flaming jets, aiming at maniacs, put my name in rap.
Biggie is taking aim at the quote-unquote maniacs who put his name in raps. The only ones who were really dissing Biggie on records were Tupac and the Outlaws. On the song Hit 'Em Up. He thinks people who diss others directly make it a much bigger deal than they should. It's just free promo for him. That's why he said they hustle backwards. Cause in the attempt of destroying him by putting his name on records, they're giving him free exposure and making Pac fans look forward to a response from Biggie. So it's only helping Big in the long run. Cause Pac was able to reach a wider audience, selling 5 million records in just a couple of months. Now those same people get put on to Biggie, looking forward to what Biggie has to say in response to Hit 'Em Up. The beef with Pac, whether people like it or not, increased Biggie's popularity and record sales. So it was helping him. And Big was smart enough to not do the same thing for his enemies. That's why Big did not put the names of his enemies on his records. Cause he'd be quote-unquote hustling backwards.
The game is that, like they hustle backwards. I smoke backwards and Dutchies, you can't touch me.
Then we get to the most disrespectful part where he makes fun of Pac's death, saying that Pac tried to rush him, lyrically and even in person like at the Soul Train Awards. But then he got what he wanted by getting touched by bullets.
Try to rush me, slugs go touchy touchy. You're bleeding lovely with your spirit above me or beneath me.
The sight of Pac covered in blood after getting shot is pleasant to him. And he really loves seeing Pac's body bleed, while his soul is either above him in heaven or beneath him in hell. That's how heaven and hell were depicted in the past. Heaven is a nice place, somewhere bright and pleasant in the clouds, while hell is underground, a place that's dark and scary. And Big is saying that Pac is now in one of those places.
You're bleeding lovely with your spirit above me or beneath me. Your whole life you live sneaky, now you rest eternally sleepy.
Claiming that Pac lived his whole life sneaky, basically calling him a liar and manipulator. Due to Pac's actions and lies about Biggie, he might actually go to hell instead of heaven, saying that Pac's body is now resting forever while his soul is trapped in hell.
Your whole life you live sneaky, now you rest eternally sleepy. You burn when you creep me, rest where the worms in the weak be.
Biggie is saying that Pac played with fire when he tried to go at him. And this also ties in with the whole heaven and hell scheme that he used, as hell is often depicted as a nightmare engulfed with flames. Pac's soul is burning in hell for trying to creep him, while his body is resting 6 feet underground, together with the worms and the weak. With the weak, he's talking about the dead, who have no life force left anymore.
My 9 flies, baptized, rap guys with the Holy Ghost. I put holes the most, you hold your toes shaky.
Tying into the death imagery in the previous lines, Biggie imagines his 9mm pistol as some sort of reverse baptism, sending Pac to see the Holy Ghost. The gun baptized him because he got wet, similar to how babies are baptized, but in this case you get wet because of the blood from your bullet holes, not from the holy water that is sprinkled over you. Biggie is also referencing a line from Mobb Deep's Tupac diss track Drop a Gem on Him, which was a response to Hit 'Em Up, the whole rap guys baptized rhyme that was aimed at Pac.
Yeah, likewise, inside of rap guys, this thing has disappeared, shut eyes, and swole up your whole outside. I'm baptized, begins to get wet.
My 9 flies, baptized, rap guys.
Biggie uses the same exact words as Prodigy from Mobb Deep to subliminally tell the listener that they're teaming up against the same opponent. So not only is Biggie using a similar beat with the same sample as the song LA LA from Capone and Noriega, but he's also referencing the Tupac diss record from Mobb Deep. It's like he's using their energy to fight back the West Coast. I mean, he also had RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan producing this song. It's like New York came together to show people that they're united and standing strong against their enemies on the West Coast.
I put holes the most, you hold your toes shaky, slipping trying to break me.
Toast is a slang word for gun. You hold your toes shaky, slipping trying to break me. Pac is shaking while holding a gun. He made the mistake to mess with Biggie. But he's also making fun of the Quad Studio incident, where Tupac reached for his gun in the attempt to shoot the robbers. But he was shaky and nervous, slipped up, and supposedly shot himself. Stretch told Biggie everything that happened. He was on the ground and saw everything. And the two are making fun of him for making the mistake of shooting himself.
Look what you made me do. Brains blue. My team in the marine blue. 6 coupe. Skeet it out.
He's telling Pac, look what you made me do. You made me order my team in the marine blue, meaning the Crips, to come shoot you. Only thing that's not adding up is him saying 6 coupe. It wasn't a coupe. It was a 4-door 1997 Cadillac, from which the Southside Crips, Terrence Brown, Keefe D, Orlando Anderson, and DeAndre Smith fired about a dozen shots at Pac and Shook's BMW in Las Vegas. And according to Keefe D, the last man who was sitting in that Cadillac that's still alive, Biggie had no involvement. They only greeted each other a couple times after the shooting. It was actually Puffy who put the bounties on their heads. He was the one that kept in touch with Keefe D. Biggie, for whatever reason, took credit for it. I guess he wanted to create controversy, while adding misinformation about the shooting to not help the cops with the investigation, cause he would have snitched on his whole team.
White the medicine, crumb's the medicine. I got the lettuce in. You turn green like cucumber skin.
Playing around with the color green. Biggie is smoking weed, which is green, got the lettuce, which is also green, while Pac turned green like cucumber skin. After seeing Biggie's rise to fame and how much money he made while he was locked up, turning green can be interpreted as another way of saying getting jealous. So Pac got jealous because Biggie got money. When he was a broke newcomer and a soldier under Tupac's wing, everything was fine. But when he started to outgrow him, Tupac all of a sudden saw him as a problem.
Hug from fake friends, make ends, they hate you. Be broke, girls won't date you.
Calling Pac a fake friend. Long before their falling out, they were always giving each other hugs every time they saw each other. Like for example at Puffy's birthday party in 1994, where they hugged each other for the last time. After he got enough money to get whatever he wanted, Pac started to hate him instead of being happy for him. That's what Biggie was trying to say. He didn't see Pac as a real friend. No friend would try to sleep with your wife. That's why he saw him as a backstabber, calling out his jealousy once again a couple lines later, where he said,
no matter how you call it, this brolic, alcoholic, like it's weed greened out, like it's brick solid.
Lil C's mentioned that Pac always had the greenest weed they'd ever seen. Big is saying that Pac became just as green as his weeds, meaning super jealous. Not only that, but he's also calling him a high alcoholic. He then went back even further to when they first met, back when Biggie was a nobody.
Be broke, girls won't date you, that's why I relate to.
This is a response to Pac making fun of Biggie being the furthest thing from a player, prior to getting famous. Pac was saying that he had to beg women to sleep with Biggie, that he was always super unpopular with women.
Biggie, remember when I used to let you sleep on the couch and beg him to let you sleep in the house?
I remember Biggie sleeping on my couch. I remember begging tips to oh! You feel me? Yeah. So Big Papa don't mean nothing to me. He know it. He know it. That's why he can't fight me. That's why he can't battle me.
Be broke, girls won't date you. That's why I relate to. Choke your ass out till your face blue. Make you open the safe too.
Biggie wants to choke Pac out for being a fake friend, for using things from the past against him, making fun of him for being broke and unpopular with women at a time when Pac was on top and when Biggie had nothing. Instead of being happy that his friend finally made it out and got the fame and recognition he deserves, he also said, make you open the safe too, once again saying that he'll rob Tupac. He said this about Pac's mother as well, on the Get Money remix.
Your mom's the actress, didn't want to show me the safe. Slug hit your chest, tap the spine, flatline, heard the grapevine, you got up 4 times.
This is exactly how Pac died. He got shot in the chest and one of the bullets hit his right lung, which caused massive bleeding that couldn't be stopped even after removing the lung. They put him into a medically induced coma and tried to revive him multiple times. He flatlined and died. just like Biggie said on the song. And the Bad Boy members still have the nerve to say that this wasn't about Pac.
Slug hit your chest, tap the spine, flatline, heard through the grapevine, they got up 4 times.
Heard through the grapevine you got effed 4 times is a reference to statements made by Wendy Williams, who claimed that Pac got assaulted and taken advantage of 4 times while he was in prison. Rappers have used this rumor to attack Tupac.
I had little girls writing to me crying, saying you got there in jail, I'm so sorry. That shit right there is what will fuel the anger that will never die. I had to write letters to 1,000 little kids explaining to them that I would be dead before a motherfucker would rape me, and you know that.
Heard through the grapevine, they got up 4 times.
And motherfuckers took shots from every direction. They thought that meant that I'm gay now. He'll fuck me in the ass now. And I'm getting in jail, woonty, wompty. They just say anything to assassinate my character.
Damn, that 3 to 9, I'll put you up for real though.
This right here is the ultimate proof that he's talking about Tupac. Damn, that 3 to 9 effed you up for real though. Pac was sentenced to 1.5 to 4.5 years in prison. 3 to 9 is the same thing, but only in half years. That was Pac's prison sentence. Biggie, just as always, tried to make it as subliminal as possible.
Damn, that 3 to 9, I'll put you up for real though. Swing still slow, has remorse, we feel no.
Biggie and Puffy had no remorse and did not regret what they did to Tupac. Big knew exactly that it was Puffy who made Keefy D and the Southsiders go after Pac and Shook, and he was fine with it. He initially might have been sad about it, but that sadness turned into happiness. Or else he wouldn't have made fun of his death on the song. I mean, they literally said that they have no remorse. But in the media, he only expressed his sadness. In the outro of the demo version with Capadonna, you can hear Biggie yelling in the background and insulting Tupac. So, according to Big, the only reason why he didn't say Tupac's name is because it would have given the Outlaws a chance to come back and sell more units. Cause now that Pac is gone, nobody is checking for the Outlaws anymore. That's what the Outlaws said in multiple interviews. They said they got blackballed. Biggie called himself the best in the game, which he definitely was after Pac's death. And there wasn't much anyone from Pac's camp could have done lyrically to come back from a record like that. Only one capable of doing so was Tupac. Hit 'Em Up and Long Kiss Goodnight are 2 of the greatest diss songs of all time. And Big's diss would have been even harder if he hadn't holden back. They both had proven that they were at the top of the food chain at the time. And I'm fully convinced that if these 2 had survived, we would have seen even harder diss tracks. The final track on the album was called You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You. Lance Rivera, who was part of Biggie's group The Commission, said that the song was about Tupac's death. Around the time Pac died, Lance had a dream where Pac said, "You're nobody till somebody kills you." Lance then went and told Biggie about that dream, and they both had goosebumps. Big then decided to make a song about it, and wanted to end his album with it. It's supposed to be a dedication and at the same time a diss towards Pac, featuring his wife Faith Evans, the person Pac used to attack Biggie. Big put Faith on the song where he's making fun of Tupac's death, as a way for him to defend the honor of his wife, after all the rumors and slander they had to endure in 95 and 96. The message of the song is that Pac was a nobody while he was alive, and that his death gave his existence a meaning.
Till somebody loves you.
I make your mouthpiece obese like Delarice. Why? May you rest in peace.